Multiplayer co-op is a real treat to see in games these days. Instead of fighting against each other, you work with several other people to beat the map. For the next set of reviews, we'll take a look at what are sometimes referred to as survival maps. You only have one life, so if you die, that's it. All you can do is watch everyone else play. One common feature of these maps is the ability to save your in-game stats in the form of a password, then load it into your next game to continue from there. This rewards players who devote more time playing the map, since you're unlocking new things to play around with.
First up is Night of the Dead Aftermath. As a map dedicated to the United States Marine Corps, it incorporates a zombie outbreak scenario with the tactics and procedures used by the USMC. Echo Company has been tasked with patrolling the outlying towns of Massachusetts, searching for any traces of zombie activity. Your squad of up to 10 Marines is on a routine patrol in one such area. The orders you receive not only discourage you from simply gunning down zombies from one spot on the map, it is necessary for your survival and progress in the game to follow these orders. Your gold and lumber resources are used to display the remaining ammunition in your magazine and magazines that you're carrying, respectively. The Marine you control has an extensive amount of abilities at their disposal, including night vision, sprinting, and the ability to jump down from the top of a cliff. There are up to 12 core military occupational specialties, with only a handful of these available to a new player, similar to how free-to-play games have classes unlockable through progress. The map has the ability to save your experience in the form of a password, which can be loaded into a future game. As you go up in rank, your stats will increase, as well as unlocking more specialties to choose from at the start of a game. These features are only beneficial to those who play the map for a long time, and the map will seem like it has a very steep learning curve. But as long as you stick together and listen to your superiors, you will be having fun right from the start, and you will be able to grasp the gameplay easily. I give this map my recommendation. Undead Assault 2. This is another zombie survival map, one of the later made ones as a matter of fact. Many of the features present here have been inspired by zombie survival maps made in the past. This includes Night of the Dead Aftermath. I would disagree with anyone who would call this an outright rip-off, but the map does have its share of similarities. It also has a larger number of actions a player can perform, such as the ability to go prone, a select fire switch for your weapon, and the ability to clear jam from your weapon when that happens. Some hostiles will actually jump around from one place to another, and this can really mess up all but the most coordinated teams. At some points in the game, you will be clearing out large groups of zombies with explosive weapons. In this respect, it seems like the map focuses more on fast-paced action than on realism. Not that a zombie outbreak is realistic in the first place, but this also gives the map a more lenient learning curve than other zombie survival maps. There are several difficulty modes you can choose from, including an umbrella mode, which also pits you against specially trained forces hired by an evil corporation, a simple nod towards the Resident Evil series. Bottom line, Undead Assault 2 is a fun map to play. It's difficult to recommend one of these maps over another since they all offer something different. My recommendation is to play them all.
Most of these maps revolve around a zombie outbreak. I have no idea why, but that's just the way it is. Now, I've participated in the modding community, so let's take a look at what I've made.
The S3 Marine Corps was created during the time when zombie survival maps were popular. I wanted to create a similar map, but I also wanted to create a completely different experience. While the gameplay of the other maps had a more tactical approach, I opted for the run-and-gun action type of gameplay. I've made 3 maps in the S3 Marine Corps series: Survival, Infiltration, and Defense. I also had a 4th map planned called Assault, but I could not finish it because of other things I had to attend to. The only differences between the maps are the objectives you need to complete. In Survival, you need to find 3 parts of a distress beacon, deploy it, and wait to be rescued. Infiltration requires you to retrieve 2 experimental weapons and its data from an abandoned facility. In defense, you need to collect supplies from a nearby crash site and hold off swarms of enemies at your base. Unfortunately, Assault was never completed, but the objective of it was to plant a nuclear bomb inside an alien hive cluster. On every map, the gameplay is essentially the same. At the beginning of a game, you start off with randomized equipment, a primary weapon with ammunition for it, a secondary weapon, and either flares, medkits, or hand grenades. Your starting equipment will only get you through the first few encounters, so you'll need to quickly find more supplies to complete the mission. There are over 50 weapons in the series, including several weapons only appearing in higher difficulties, and a couple weapons unique to each scenario. These weapons range from shotguns and rifles to missile launchers and flamethrowers. The mission objectives are simple enough to follow. You read the objective as it appears on the screen, or press F9 to read everything. The objectives were designed to be as simple as those of Unreal Tournament's Assault game type. If the map becomes too confusing, you just need to follow your teammates. The maps support up to 12 players. I can't actually review these maps because I made them, so how about some self-criticism instead? Now that I'm much more wiser than I was back then, I can see a few things I would have liked to change. First of all, the password system is too long, 17 characters long. 5 of these characters are only used for verification purposes, and 2 characters are storing unnecessary data. One thing I had mixed thoughts about is the lack of usable hero abilities. It would be nice to have players execute these abilities to increase their chances of survival. However, I wanted the players' fighting capabilities to be dependent on their weapons and equipment, rather than on magical abilities. Some players have brought this to my attention, and I do appreciate it. One thing I could never understand is why some people could never figure out how to reload. There are several messages in the game that tell you how to reload. One at the beginning of the game, one in the quest log, one in the tooltip of each weapon, and if you dry fire for a while, a message pops up telling you how to reload. Seriously, what else can I do? Tell them how? Doesn't that destroy the whole point of making these messages? I'm busy playing, leave me alone. The information is right in front of you, and if you can't read, never mind. All things considered, I am proud of what I made. Check it out if you get a chance.